Please welcome my friend, my good friend, another brother from another mother, Andy Huynh. Shoot. Thank you for being here. Um, well, I'm in your humble abode, this house here. Um, yeah, thank you for being on this episode, on this podcast thing that I'm trying to do. So yeah, how's it going? How's everything? What's new? What's new with you?
It's going. It's very busy.
No, that's true. That's true.
Very busy.
Christmas time and it's wrestling season. Is it the middle of wrestling season?
About so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Before we go to the wrestling stuff, let's turn back time. Genesis. Meaning, I met you not in high school. Actually, I met you in high school, but I've seen you in middle school, Riverview, 8th grade. And when I first saw you, I'm like, dang, this guy is a guy, he works for the Triads or something. He's an Asian gangster. Did you see me back in Riverview or not?
I did see you, yes.
Oh, you did? Oh, dang.
I vaguely remembered you.
Okay. How was your time at middle school? How did you like it?
Mixed reviews. I more on the side of not liking it too much because they treated everybody like little kids. Probably because there was too many immature people there.
Yeah. I mean, my time there. I mean, I came to that school like maybe a few months in since I moved over here back in 2005 or something like that from San Leandro. So that was pretty crazy. I mean, I met quite a few people there, you know, and then moved on to high school. Dang, that's where I officially met you. Dang, I already forgot how I met you. I know it was I'm not sure with through who though. You know,
It was probably many mutual friends.
many mutual friends. Yeah. All right, but throughout your time of high school, how did you like it? How was your experience?
I didn't like it for the first couple years.
Oh, you did not.
Not really. It was just getting adjusted to the whole from middle school to high school. I didn't like freshman year too much.
How so? How come?
It was just mostly going through tough times.
Okay.
Very, very tough times. It's cool. It's in the past, of course.
Okay. How was your time sophomore year?
A little bit better.
A little bit better. Okay. And then of course junior year,
Junior year, better.
better.
I definitely think senior year was the best year.
Wow, oh, dang, why?
I pretty much had stuff together and doing well in classes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, my freshman year of high school. I mean, I think my favorite year, I guess, would have to be maybe senior year as well. Freshman year, I was still getting adjusted. I was in my emo phase, if you remember that. Sophomore year, somewhat transitioning, but still emo phase. And then junior year, I guess I kind of stopped the emo phase and then slowly transitioned into like a more, I don't know, how would you describe? Do you remember me in junior year, senior year?
Vaguely, yeah. It was an emo phase, I remembered.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
still emo phase.
What, sophomore year?
Oh, sophomore year. Okay.
Junior year, I'm not so sure.
Okay. Do you have a favorite moment in high school?
It's some are explicit.
I mean, you're welcome to say.
It's hard to say.
Okay.
I would definitely say hanging out with friends, getting to know people was the best part.
Right.
Getting to know more people.
Dang. What was there a bad a bad experience in high school?
Not so much. I mean, as people who talk behind your back, you can't please everyone, unfortunately. You can't get everyone to like you, but you can get everybody to hate you easily, but there's always gonna be haters out there.
Right, right.
What can you do? You can't please everyone.
I think when I was in middle school, I thought of high school was like I was picturing like full of lockers, while at the same time I thought high school was gonna be like this sort of a High School Musical type thing, But lo and behold, it wasn't. It was not like that. It was how we experienced it. Mount. But okay. After high school, did you have a thought? Did you have a thought like, oh, I'm gonna go to college or I'm just gonna go to work?
It was hard to say. I was just mostly focused on getting wrestling season done. So I wasn't too into it.
Okay.
I just wanted to at least graduate. I mean, I only failed one class.
In high school?
Probably. I think so. Because I think the rest were D's. Freshman year, I had a bad GPA, but it was mostly D's. But I think officially I did fail one high school class, but it's because the teacher was really bad.
I see.
I transferred out of that class after the grade got posted, unfortunately. I didn't transfer out quickly enough.
What subject was that anyway?
It was auto shop.
Oh, auto shop. Okay.
Yeah. I transferred. I think it had to have been sophomore year. So I transferred out of Spanish because at the time, getting to know another language, already knowing another one is a little difficult while balancing other stuff going on. So
yeah, you gotta learn another language on top of it.
Yeah. So I said no. Luckily the other requirement was art, so I took photo arts, and that was an easy A.
Photo art.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they provided that.
They did.
It was in the art building, right?
Yes.
I never been in the art building. I never took a class in the art building before.
No surprise.
That's crazy. I mean, I've been in it while I was in high school, but maybe like twice or something throughout the 4 years. Well, that's pretty crazy. Okay. And you started wrestling in high school, right?
I did.
Which was what, sophomore year or freshman?
Freshman year.
Dang. So freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, all wrestling.
For the most part, freshman year I had to cut it short due to family issues.
Okay.
So, but I still continued doing some of the drills. Kept going.
Dang. And because of that, you're a freaking monster, huh?
Give or take, yeah. I mean, if everybody had their lives perfect and not have any issue, then everything will be fine. But obviously, nothing's perfect. So sometimes you have to step down to come back strong, and that's what I did.
Okay. Dang. And then eventually you became a coach, right? An assistant coach first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When did that start?
Right after we graduated.
So 2010 fall, you became an assistant coach?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How was that experience? Was it difficult trying to train these young bucks or what?
It was very difficult.
Okay.
It was a very difficult year.
How about the years following that? They got easier for you, or?
It got easier. It has its ups and downs, but for the most part, it was easier.
Okay. Is there anything like, is there a tough moment, or what's the most difficult part of teaching wrestling?
Retaining athletes and making sure they go to practice, because a lot of them have too many excuses.
They just don't want to go and show up.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Yeah.
Damn. But aside from that, like teaching them the moves and all of that, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Okay.
Just the paperwork is the headache.
Paperwork.
Yeah.
For their parents to sign.
Kind of, yeah. Some paperwork stuff is the physicals is always half the battle. So I say
because that deals with a doctor and
kind
all
of,
that.
yeah, because you have to be cleared. Everybody has to. You
Okay.
can't get cleared, you can't compete. It is what it is.
So that's like the baseline. You got to pass that.
It's minimum, yeah.
Okay. And then eventually you became the head coach, right?
Hmm.
So when did you become the head coach for the high school?
Probably right when COVID hit.
So 2020.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how does it feel to be the head coach of a high school wrestling team?
It's good, but it wasn't what I originally wanted to do. I just did it because they needed someone. So
So in the first place, you didn't even want to be the head coach.
no, not at all. Because I had a lot on my plate already.
Okay.
But luckily I'm pretty good with time management, so I can always figure things out.
Okay. For wrestling, what's the most difficult move to do?
The most difficult move to do.
Yeah.
Probably, well, that's a tough one. I guess like maybe some advanced stuff. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. How about like the easiest?
Oh, yeah, easiest would definitely be like takedowns.
Take that. Okay, yeah. Have you ever used your wrestling skills in the real world? Like let's say there was something going on over there, and then you use your skills to disarm the situation.
I have many times.
Okay. That's. Do you feel like you have like a superpower?
In a way, I mean, this closest that you can get to being Superman,
Right.
combat training.
Right. I mean, some people, I feel like some people, or not. I feel like I noticed some people use their skills, their whether it's wrestling or boxing or some other art of fighting, they kind of how should I put it, like show off, and then they try to bully some other people. I'm like, what the fuck, that's kind of whack. But then here's you I barely see you use your skills to mess around or tease I barely see that of you. So I'm like, dang, this guy's pretty humble. That's from my perspective though.
Yes.
So, but okay, then fast forward or after high school, yeah, you went to DVC, right? Is that right?
Yes.
So, and I think that was you started what, just like me, fall of 2010.
Yeah, but I didn't have much of a good start. I didn't really have much guidance on what to do. If I had the guidance, I would have done better, but I was a year behind. But at least I kind of figured out what my path and goals were. So
In the beginning, what did you want to do at DVC or at a community college overall?
just wanted to mostly get started with college. It just felt like an extension to high school, except a lot more strict.
I see.
It was a lot of learning experience. This is mostly the thing about dropping classes that you just don't know when you're never going to see anybody. I mean, you know as well as I do at San Jose State, it's not that easy to drop a class.
Right.
You have to petition it with a teacher. You just drop the class and at DVC and you just never see the kid again.
Yeah. DVC is much more easier to drop a class.
Yeah.
Obviously,
well, it makes sense because it's less burden and impactful on finances versus at a university, the finances can be a lot more significant on the student and the instructor.
There was one point at San Jose State where in my head, I'm like, oh shit, I really need to drop this class because I'm way behind and I don't think I can finish all this work before the deadline, right? This was like finals, right? but then yeah, I checked out how to drop a class at San Jose State, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a long ass process. It's not like DVC, it's not like community college. So I really had to think. I'm like, should I do all of this stuff? Should I do this process, this long ass process, or should I just, you know what, like legit, no sleep, just keep going, like for the next few days, no sleep, and eventually I'm like, all right, fuck all this process. Let me try to finish all this, and it was a photography class, but the projects we had, yeah, I was pretty far behind. so yeah, the next day and the next day after that, I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let me run all of these assignments, and at the end, like, oh shit, passed it. So I'm like, fuck, all right, thank you, Philip.
What grade did you pass it with?
Either I'm forgetting, either an A or a B.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It's still pretty high, even.
right. I mean, I was.
Well, be honest. We know you procrastinated on that class, huh?
For sure.
I figured much.
That and the instructions at that time, it was very unclear to me because they needed, well, the professor needed, they wanted like a specific thing, a specific format and formatting stuff for the photos and all that shit, because we were also going to display it in a museum or something. We were also going to like have it in real life, I think, you know. So all of the instructions were a bit confusing to me. So I'm like, fuck, I'm really getting behind on top of the procrastinating shit. But yeah, pulled through it, and I'm like, all right, looks like I'm still alive at this university.
I see.
But I mean, okay, but back to DVC. Do you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite class at DVC?
Oh, that's a tough one. It was so long ago.
Oh dang! Okay,
It was a very long time ago. I'd probably maybe say sign language because at least that, unlike Spanish in high school, at least with sign language, it was easier to learn.
It's easier
because you already know English. It's just knowing this hand signs. That's the part you had to learn.
So you would say maybe that's one of your favorites, at least.
I'd definitely say so. It was easy A, so anything easy A would be anybody's favorite class.
Now, was there a difficult class? Name one, name two, name three.
Well, I had, unfortunately, in DVC, I think I had a total of either 5 or 6 W's, withdrawals. I mean, the classes were tough.
Yeah. I mean, same. I got W's too.
Yeah. I mean, no one's perfect. So, I mean, I think generally when you transfer, they mostly look at your recent coursework versus the ones you start with, because people are understanding. You start off fresh. You don't know what you're doing. And once you get what's the word I'm looking for? Get with the program, then they look at your recent stuff. So I guess when I got into the schools I got into, they kind of ignored those 5 or 6 W's.
Okay.
And just let me in because I showed exceeding expectations to my last few semesters.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, drama was the other class that was fun too, because people really enjoyed my acting, which they were like, "You're a natural." And I said, I've always wanted to get into voice acting. Maybe one day. I just need to figure out when I'm going to want to do that. I just need to get through my current hurdles first.
But for the drama class, I mean, was it voice acting that you liked, or the whole thing, like the act itself, like your whole body, like an actor that you would see in television or movie? Were you into that, or just voice acting?
I think a little bit of everything. I mean, with me, the reason why I want to do voice acting is because I like seeing a lot of animes. Like, we were watching Bleach, obviously, and the English dubs there is pretty good. And I think I would be a pretty good voice actor. It just depends on where I would go. And audition. I just don't know where to start. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
And just when I get ready to start, then I'll start. But just not ready. Plus, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing voice acting because I'm not very, I wouldn't say camera shy. I'm not very photogenic. So it's not that I don't have a problem with being in front of the camera. It's just
Right.
I see pictures of myself. I'm like, okay, I don't look too good in it or whatnot.
I mean, yeah, I don't think you're shy in front of the camera because obviously there's a camera in front of us. But
Yeah.
but now that I think of it, I mean, you do got a nice voice for acting. You have that low voice, that deep resonance. So
Sort of,
that's
yeah.
pretty dope. I like that. My voice is a little bit higher, so I don't think it would pass these what
Standards.
standards. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that was your DVC experience. You liked it for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, the class I get back to your answering your question.
Yeah,
The class I definitely did not like the most was we were actually both in that class, biology.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was a very, very hard time for me.
What kind of biology was that anyway?
I think it was 101 or it was basically 101 with the lab, so 102
The
technically.
lab, right.
So if it was just 101, then it would just be the lecture portion. But I tried my best. Well, science is my weakest subject, and I just can't understand it. Probably because, well, maybe now I'd probably understand it more with more of the academic and life experience I've gained and watching. I think it was just mostly not being exposed to science stuff,
I see.
like serious. I mean, with me growing up, I felt like I had Bill Nye the Science Guy shoved down my throat too much because I've always seen it. And
Yeah.
I've always thought the guy's intelligent, don't get me wrong, but I
Right.
always thought it was cheesy.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it's more geared toward kids, but I feel like if he did like an adult side of it, then I would definitely be more interested in watching it because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's a legit scientist. He knows his stuff. I acknowledge that. But I just think that if he did like maybe a couple episodes of serious stuff, then
Yeah.
I would for sure watch it.
For
Like with me, I've always wanted to get in the medical field. Like I'm CPR first aid trained and AED basically. So I have to be because I'm a coach. You have to
Right.
renew the cards every 2 years. And mine I have to renew next year because it's due.
Like every 2 years, right?
Yeah, every 2 years, and every 4 years is the tuberculosis test, which mine is coming up next year, which I can easily get done. I just want to get it done closer to the date of when it expires, so I don't have to worry about it. Same thing for the CPR test, but I'm gonna do that next school year since I don't. That way, I don't have to think about it right now.
Right. Okay. Dang. Okay. So from there, wait. When did you want to transfer to San Jose? Wasn't there other universities that you wanted to go to?
Yeah, I applied to SF State. I got in.
But you chose San Jose. Why?
I chose San Jose because my dad found out I got in. And he offered to let me stay at his place. And
Right.
I said, "How much would you charge me for rent?" He said, I don't want to charge you anything. I want to help you." And I said, "It's a very generous offer, and I'll think about it." But tuition at San Jose State was probably like maybe $400-500 more per semester versus San Francisco State. But if I went to SF State, then the commute, I would have to commute all the time, and
Right.
it would be long-term wise, I think it would be mentally draining. And I felt that I found out that VTA was free for students, so in a way it kind of worked out where I only took just the bus
Right.
and I didn't have to pay for transportation. Sometimes my dad would drop me off if he would want to go, because my dad did Uber a lot. You knew this too.
Yeah.
So he would sometimes want to drop me off at the school. I mean, it was before we moved over here. My mom and dad split, and I guess he lost a lot of years where he didn't get to be a dad. So he wanted to be a dad and be like, "Oh, you have to drop off my son at school," but except he's going to college, and this and that.
Right.
Yeah. So
So okay, I mean, makes sense. I mean, if I had those, if that was the options too, um, commuting to SF Estate. That's like what, BART, the bus, and then going back bus, and then BART, or San Jose. You just go on the bus. You're there. Get on the bus again. You're back.
Mhm.
So, and you're living with family. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I would have chosen San Jose too.
Definitely.
So, I mean, eventually that's what I chose too, San Jose. But in your case, I guess you went to San Jose for justice studies,
Yeah.
right? How was that? How was justice studies? How was that program?
It was a good program. It's
Mm.
a lot of learning experience. I think the only feedback I would have is more career options, because the application process of getting in to a lot of places is ridiculous.
Wait, what do you mean?
And because a lot of the times you would have to do, I did one of the applications, it's called a post application, and you cannot miss anything on the application, not one single thing. Even an apartment or extension, you have to mark it off, say NA.
Oh wow.
So you cannot miss one single thing. And on the bottom right corner of every page, it says initials and you acknowledge it.
Damn. So it's pretty strict.
Oh yeah, because it's going to the state, because they send all the applications to Sacramento. They do get a lot of applications that are incomplete. And I mean, I'll admit I messed up on one of my I think it was one of my jobs. I listed I think I messed up with some of the date there. I had somebody look at the application for me too before I turned it in, just to make sure I don't miss anything. But it turns out I did miss that. And I looked at the application 10 times before I turned it in.
Dang.
So I looked at it forward maybe at least 5-6 times. I looked at it backwards, took a break obviously for a few hours or a day, and looked at it again. Still missed something. Still missed one little thing.
Wow.
I caught a few things, but that was the one thing I missed on the application.
But then eventually you submitted the application,
Yeah, I did.
and then it was
They helped me review. No, I think generally they help you review it first, and that's what they caught. They caught that, and I said, "Oh, I didn't even catch that." But they said you caught it. You got everything else. They said you did better than most people did, because
wow.
most people miss things or they leave everything blank. But they said you didn't even miss anything at all. It was just that one little mistake, but easy fix.
Wait, this application, what was this for?
It's for a dispatch to be a
Okay, yeah. Okay.
for the county.
Dang. Okay. I mean, one thing that I've learned from you in that field is that APA format style. I didn't even know that existed. I'm like, oh dang, this is this is pretty new to me. And then I vaguely remember now, but I remember you telling me like the formatting stuff. I'm like, oh dang, this is a bit different than MLA. So I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's cleaner. The only thing I don't like about APA is that you have to fully talk in third person. I feel like it's a little bit easier if you add the first, second, third person's perspective, because ironically in college you're not allowed to use it unless it's like saying in the situation itself, or
It's
or
it. Wait, in your program or the whole university?
I think generally in college writing you're not allowed to say it, because it's not specific.
It.
And plus it kind of works out because being specific increases the word count anyway.
True. I'm right now I'm trying to remember if I ever wrote it. But now that I think of it, I don't think so. It. The word it. Maybe it's. Maybe I wrote that. Maybe. Like IT.
ITS is fine because you say
it's going to blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In its format or its
right.
program.
Right.
That's fine.
Okay.
As long as it's not just a standalone it.
Yeah.
And I think apostrophes were a big one in APA. And again, like let's say there, for example, you say they are.
Right.
Apostrophes aren't allowed unless it's someone's name. Like let's say Travis, or like, Travis, or you put the apostrophe,
For
it would mean that it's his.
it's his, yeah.
But at the same time, it's technically redundant because your Travis would mean, with the apostrophe, would mean two or more people.
Dang. Yeah, at San Jose when I went there, I think the only style that I was messing with was either MLA or AP style, which is the journalism type format.
I even heard of a Chicago type or whatever.
I heard Chicago. Yeah, I haven't used that though.
Neither have I. I think mostly history majors use it, but there's also ASA style, which is the something sociology association.
The medical stuff.
No,
or
it's
just
sociology.
Oh, it's just in the sociology field.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But one of my teachers, he was teaching the research methods class. He was a sociology major, but he was obviously qualified to teach the research methods. But he said it was kind of contradicted because ASA format, they often refer to the APA format manual anyway. So he said, why don't they just fully transition it to APA, make life easier?
Right. I mean, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. So I said, APA has its ups and downs. I just feel like they need to relax more on the specific person and whatnot. or allow you to say he or she. Because they tell college papers tell you be specific anyway.
Right.
So that's my only argument.
I think it would have been nice. Maybe high school they showed us a little bit more of the other styles. I think for the most part it was fairly focused on MLA. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything of AP style or APA style or the Chicago style or other styles. It was just mostly, if not, it was all of it was MLA format. So I think at the high school level, it would have been nice if the students got to know more of these other formats, since it's going to be in college, it's going to be in university, when the students go there. So
Yeah.
shoot. But I mean, now looking back, I mean, would you do it all over again? Would you, if you had the choice, if you had the option to do San Jose State all over again, would you have chosen justice studies?
Perhaps. I wouldn't have minded. I feel like maybe my talents could have also been allocated elsewhere. Like, because I know that I could do justice studies too. I could also even do because poli-sci and psychology and sociology, they all bridge together anyway. So it would be an easy bridge to go anywhere.
Okay. And you didn't minor anything, right?
I minored in human rights.
Right.
I could have probably minored in sociology if I wanted to.
Okay. Why would you have wanted that more than the human rights minor?
Probably, but the reason why I did the human rights minor is because a lot of my classes I already took or were going to take on my college plan already bridge with it anyway.
Oh, okay.
I could have easily left San Jose State in a year and a half if I wanted to, but I could have graduated. When did I graduate again? Spring 2017. I could have graduated fall 2016 if I wanted to, and I'd only been there for a year and something.
Wow.
Because I took winter session class and I took a summer session course.
Okay.
So my graduation status accelerated pretty significantly.
Dang. Did you enjoy your time at university?
I did. I just feel like I took it for granted a little bit.
How so?
Could have done more.
More as in more as in what?
Maybe gotten more involved in clubs. That's the big one.
So more of the social interacting.
Yeah, the big one I missed out on was the networking part. I networked as much as I could, but I feel like I could have done better. I wish I'd gotten into LinkedIn at the time because yeah, it's I just also wish that I could have also maybe use the career center more. That was the one big thing I missed out on.
The Career Center, yeah.
Yeah, and then I also wish that I would have signed up for the alumni membership when it was cheaper at the time, because when you graduate, it's still fairly cheap. And
Right.
I didn't know that you could make payments on it for the lifetime membership, which I would have done had I known that. But now it's a little more pricier, but I'll eventually do it. But when my finances are a little more straight.
Right, right. Okay. um, Eventually, though, you graduated SJSU. Like you said, what, 2017
Yeah.
or something? Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. You graduated. You graduated what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 years before I graduated.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was stuck at DVC for a long time.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. I mean, the best thing about it is that school's always there.
True, true,
and whatnot. So
true. I mean, but with all of this school stuff from middle school, high school, DVC Community College, university at San Jose State, all of this experience and all that. I always, I usually ask this question to most, if not all of my guests so far, but do you have advice or tips or tricks for current or future students who will become either high school students or community college students or university students? Do you have any advice or tips or tricks and whatnot?
I'd say get as much help as possible. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Use all the resources you can, and just get familiar with where you're going. Like, that's why they had orientation. That way it saves you a bunch of time and thinking. So that's my big thing. Because when I went to San Jose State, I had a lot of time on my hands. I didn't have a job at the time. So I said, well, at the moment, while I have all my money saved up from when I cranked it out before I came over here, I might as well just get to learn the resources here. And I learned a lot of resources. And a lot of people approached me during my first week there. They're like, how long have you been going here? I said, this is only my first week. And they said, I've been going here for almost 2 years and you know more stuff than I do. And I said, well, you put into work on getting the resources and you'll succeed. So I succeeded there. My lowest class, I think my lowest grade at San Jose State was probably a B minus.
Dang.
Either a B minus or a B, but I'm certain it's a B minus because I excelled very well there. I got like a couple of A pluses, which is mostly bragging rights, but unfortunately, it doesn't bring your GPA higher than a 4.0.
Shoot, I think my lowest was I think it was a C, a straight C. I think that class was a I think it was media law, a media law class. That class was
Media law, you should have asked me about, man. I know law.
I would say it was a bit difficult because that professor was he was pretty strict, pretty, he wanted you to know the dates, maybe the dates, I'm forgetting now, but for sure like what happened at this situation that caused this, which all of it media law, it relates to our major, which is advertising, but still, dang, learning all of that, trying to learn all of that, like, dang,
the dates are tough to remember. Because the content is easier to remember.
So that, I think that was one of my most difficult classes at San Jose State. But after that, I think the classes after that, it was fairly okay. I mean, it was still somewhat difficult since there was a lot of assignments and projects and working with freaking groups. Oh my goodness! How was your experience with working with groups? Fuck.
It was fair, more of a good experience, I'd say.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think the classes that I've taken, since going to San Jose. I think maybe 2 or 3 groups I had. It was a somewhat bad experience since they weren't doing anything at all. I remember.
Well, I mean, that was around the COVID time, wasn't it?
COVID time too, yeah. I remember this one group that I was in. Yeah, I tried to, get them together, blah blah blah, but it was only like maybe 2 or 3 days before the final day of class where everyone in my group finally decided to come together and work on the presentation. I'm like, dang, you guys fucking suck. But I mean, luckily though, they were, they were okay with presenting, and they're good with talking in front of a camera and whatnot, and trying to explain, what we were doing. So that was good. If they sucked, oh dang, would have bombed that. Shoot. But I guess that's the experience with university, with school.
Yeah, sometimes it's crazy because when I was at San Jose State, I was a TA, and then you figure like a lot of people would get their act together and get matured, but even so, most of the people are pretty mature, but there's always going to be like that group of people, maybe the 20% of them that just can't get their stuff together,
Right.
and follow simple instructions, and it's not that difficult either.
Right.
Even I've seen a 3.0 student that can't properly follow instructions. And I've seen like a 2.6 student or 2.2 student that can easily follow instructions. It's just not that hard. I mean, sometimes they just have tough teachers, but if you can't follow proper instructions, even if as simple as it is, then how are you gonna expect to get anywhere in life?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that's that's people, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
But now you are, well, after you graduated and whatnot, you eventually went to Panera, and now you've become a manager there. That's crazy. Like, so what were the steps on becoming a manager?
Well, essentially, first, when you start there, they put you on a 90-day probation, but they didn't tell me I was on a 90-day probation. I kind of found out like after I got promoted. They said, generally after your 90-day probation, we promote people, or may not promote them, but depends on who it is. And they would say like, either this yay or nay for this person, and me, I had a unanimous yay, obviously.
Who said yay? Like who were these people that all said
Mostly
yay?
the managers and pretty much everybody there. They were just like, who is this guy? He's a natural. They're saying like, hey, have you been a manager before or whatever? I said, no, I did cashiering before, but I'm just good with people.
Dang. So was there a interview that you had to go through to become a manager?
Surprisingly, not really. I think it was just mostly talking with the district manager and the general manager, and I guess like they were like saying like, I've been originally when I started there, I didn't want more than 20 hours a week. But they were short people anyway. They needed people. So I already knew I was going to get the job anyway. Because I just said, I kind of knew what to say anyway. So I was just mostly looking to build on my work experience. So that's what I wanted. But I figured, you know what? Eventually I get promoted to manager, and I'll just add time on that.
Yeah.
Before I leave Panera, or I don't. I may or may not continue after I move, but it depends on where I go from there. This is basically a career at this point, since I got promoted to manager and I haven't been working there for more than a year.
Right. I mean, to me, I think that's a pretty big deal. Manager,
Yeah.
that looks hella good on a resume. This guy's a manager. He knows how to manage people. He knows how to lead. So to me, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about being promoted to manager too, they take a look at your attendance. I mean, with us living in Pittsburgh, having to go into Concord, they understand I'm late sometimes because I have to sit in traffic and deal with it, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
and have other obligations. So they're very understanding, which that's why Panera's in the top, I think top 10 or 15 or 20 on Glassdoor. That's the best places to work. So with me, like I think I saw the reviews on there. A lot of people say the thing that they don't like the most is that it gets repetitive and boring and tiring. But with me, I said, hey, cross train me because I know I'm gonna get bored doing
Mm-hmm.
cashiering all the time because I'm already like a master cashier at my place.
Mm.
So I said, put me on production because I need a cross train.
And then that's what they did.
Yeah. They
Okay.
said this guy's picking it up very fast.
Wow.
So they would put you on a couple. There's three positions on. They call it the line on production. There's three positions: QC, which is quality control, and then sandwiches, and then salads.
Okay.
So, but the QC person would handle like bagging the orders or plating it or scooping the soups. So, yeah, and then I'm still working on my sandwich skills because I tend to like have trouble wrapping sometimes, but I have people who's worked there for 15 years. I said, hey, I can't seem to get it down. I need help. And with me, the one thing, like I said earlier about asking for help, is that sometimes I get irritated. I just don't ask for help, and sometimes I need to ask for help. I mean,
Yeah.
I say like I need to make myself more vulnerable. I mean, it shows a thing of weakness, but it's to help me grow.
Right.
So a lot of things I look back on, and definitely Panera did make me realize that it helped me with my coaching too, where I need to reach out and say, hey, I need help. I can't do this alone. So the nice thing about coaching too is that my assistant stepped up and he's mostly taking the lead on Tuesday, Thursdays, where I mean he knows how hard I work and he helps me mostly that so I can come in later to practice either 5 or 5:30.
Right. Okay.
But the nice thing is that my assistant he asked for Wednesdays because to be more flexible because he has a hard time like coming to practice on Wednesdays, which I said I got it handled. Is the only thing I would ask for him on Wednesdays is just to come to the events.
Right. Okay.
But the practices he doesn't have to worry about it. I have that managed.
Okay. Well, that's good. You worked around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Those managerial skills at work.
Sure
Damn.
is.
Being a manager. I mean, do you have going back to the advice thing again, asking for advice? Do you have advice or tips on becoming a manager?
Just don't call out. Calling out's a big one. I've never called out before, like, or not be a no call no show. Well, technically, I have called out before, but it was when I was excessively sick to where I couldn't even do anything. So I've worked there since last July, 2021, all the way to now. So a year and a half ish, give or take.
Okay.
And I've only ever called out sick once in my entire time there.
Oh wow. Okay.
So everybody can't really deny that on me.
Damn. And then how about as a manager, do you have like tips or advice for those who are managers currently?
It's hard to say. I mean, a lot of the managers I work with are good. It's just I'd say like being organized is a big one, and communication's huge. And trying not to do too much, but definitely not too little of anything, and just finding the right balance. And just having backup plans in case things go south. And I think working with the team I have at Panera, I'm learning a lot on more of the specifics on the back end of like when things go south. Like, for example, being super short staff, we would talk to our district manager and say, hey, we need to shut down the online channels because that way it'll reduce the stress on us. And it also affects labor too. So obviously, like, let's say, you have 2 employees on that makes about 20 an hour. but you're not getting any sales worth like, let's say you get $17 in sales that hour, and the employees basically make about 40 an hour. You already lost it in like an hour or so in labor because you've only made $17. So they would say either start planning and sending people home early, or just call people off that work short shifts, like 5-hour shifts, and say, hey, it's slow today. You could take the day off because our labor is going to get affected.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Earlier, you said online channels. Would that be like the website, the app, or something?
Yeah, like the app, like Rapid Pickups or DoorDash or Uber Eats and Grubhub.
Okay, so there's something in those apps that allows that particular restaurant to like say to the app, oh, we're not taking any more orders or something like that.
Yeah, we could do that if we wanted to.
Oh, that's
We've
neat.
done it many times, and the one thing that we could do on our end is, well, there's barista, like you make the smoothies or drinks, like if we're super short staffed, one of the first things we would do is just cut the barista, and that way it slows down the online orders of coming in. And we can make the drinks too, but we mostly would keep it in house, or we just don't do them at all because of short staff.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I've seen some articles that have said like Paneras have closed because of short staff, and not just Panera, but a lot of places. But there's a specific one I read that they said it might have been a place in Kentucky at some mall. They said it was like a really known good Panera, but the problem is that they were they just were short staffed, so they had to close it down because they were just not getting stressed with just only the regular people that show up, because they always say like aces in their places, and with the people calling off or people being flaky, or I mean, being sickness is one thing I understand, but if somebody's known for like calling off often, then it hurts the people that are regulars and that work hard. It hurts the people who are always there regularly.
If there's an employee like that, I mean, would you cut them off, or would you like what? Would you try to talk to them, or?
It depends. I think for the most part, if they're known for calling off all the time, then they get their hours cut.
Okay.
And if they excessively do it, then they eventually get let go.
Right. Okay.
Because you can't just like straight up let somebody go. You have to
give a reason.
You have to have multiple reasons, mostly documented.
Oh, documented. Yeah. Documented reasons that are a lot. Multiple, like you said. Okay.
Essentially, yeah.
Dang. Okay. Shoot.
Yeah, because like we would expect somebody to show up. Let's say, for example, like a dishwasher. I've seen people that have only worked there for like less than 6 months, and they've called out like 5, 6, 7 times. And wow. I'm like, dude, I've only been working here for a year and a half, and I've only called off once, and it was for a very hard reason. But you called off because you don't have a ride, or you have to do something that's not even like excessively related. So I'm just like, at this point, I would rather just tell them to let you go. I don't have firing decisions or power, but I have significant influence on my opinion.
But yeah, 6 months, and then they're already called off 6 times?
6, 7 times. For example, not saying a specific dishwasher.
Yeah.
It's just an example.
Dang.
And essentially, it comes down to common sense. Like, you screw over your coworkers or whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, those coworkers, they expect that, their fellow coworker would be working with them. So, everything is, fair. Everything is good. And it's not too stressful on the job and all that. And then that person, whoever it may be, doesn't show up because he or she gets called off, and then it's like, oh shit, there's going to be more work to do. It's even more stressful. It's like, fuck, right? Damn.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that we always figure it out, which is the beautiful part.
So if that happens, what would you do? What would you guys do?
Either close the cafe early,
Okay.
or like try to call somebody in. I mean, I think for a minimum, you need at least 3 people there.
Okay.
Like, I think we've never gone below the bare minimum, which I'm thankful for.
Bare minimum would have been what, 2?
Yeah.
1?
Well, actually, no. I take that back. Our bare minimum was 2 because it was me and our other manager at the time, and we just said we're not opening till 8 a.m. because we don't have a third person. Typically, 4 people would be scheduled, and that it would be very easy.
Okay. But if it's just 2 people, it will be difficult.
It would be extremely difficult.
Dang. And then if there's 3 people, it's like it's still hard, but still doable, still manageable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would have to survive for like 1 or 2 hours, or the manager in charge would try to call let's say the 8 a.m. person, and it's like 6:30. They try to ask the 8 a.m. person if they could come in earlier.
Okay.
That way it cuts down the time and stress.
And that person would, I mean, I guess they would get more hours in.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. Okay.
Either that or they take off early to even out whatever the hours they were scheduled.
Right.
It would also depend on labor too. So most of the time we're super short, but we're like getting a lot of product coming in. Then we would get our sales would be high, but our labor would be low. So sometimes we'd be in negative labor. There was I think it was a few weeks ago. It was like the first time it rained excessively. All of a sudden, just insane orders coming in for a ton of our soups.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was overwhelming. It wasn't just us that dealt with it, but I think every single Panera Bread that was in our market dealt with the negative labor. I think on average, the negative labor was like 7 or 10 hours negative, and that was not good. Savers were very high.
Do you know why that happened?
The rain, weather changes everything.
Yeah,
People want soup when it rains.
Oh, so this happened. Did this happen recently?
Like maybe about a month ago.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. A month ago it was already cold.
Yeah. Well, right now it's a little slow because people are recovering from holiday purchases, and then the new year coming up, people want to save money, or they get gym memberships and they try to eat out less.
So which is the much more faster season? Is it during the summer or spring or fall?
About so, yeah, it's springish, but they say it starts picking up in February again, but at the same time, I kind of sort of disagree with that because of the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was when we're really, really slow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
People are saving their money on like pizza, chicken wings.
Right. Dang. that's and you notice that's the most slow you guys ever been during that time.
Typically, yeah, because we would send people home, and I even got called off before. And they said, "Hey, we're super slow right now. They're telling us to cut the hours. It's nothing personal." And I said, "Okay, no problem.
No need to come to work."
Yeah. So they try to, like, let's say somebody's scheduled like 9 a.m. They try to at least call them an hour before. That way it's like, you're not wasting time getting ready to leave the house. Like they asked me to like have practice and calling people off too. So I've called a few people off myself before. I've tried calling a few people in.
Yeah.
So that way I at least get some practice.
Okay. Is there any Panera secrets that you would like to give out?
I mean, you can ask me anything you want. It's basically technically public knowledge. I mean, it's listed on the website, but I'm always an open book.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean that's some good information with managing, and Panera itself. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. Other than that, though, all of that, that we talked about from middle school to all the way to where you at now, Panera. What's next for Andy? What's next for you?
Well, eventually down the line, I'm gonna move, so I'm trying to cut down on my current commitments right now, and I need to focus more on myself because I enjoy helping people, but at the same time, I need to also focus on myself as well. I mean, we're not getting any younger.
True.
I need to focus on getting everything together, like cut back my expenses and cut back my spending a little bit and start saving more and clear off any debt I have. Hopefully, this whole news about the student debt relief thing comes through because apparently Texas filed something and blocked it from millions of students being able to get their student debt relief. So that's the part that sucks, but it is what it is.
I see.
Yeah, because I applied already, and I'm just like, all right, here comes the rest of my student debt being forgiven, and then all of a sudden, boom, it gets blocked. Well, not just mine, but
everyone else's. Yeah.
So it's like, it sucks. Your dream's so close to financial burden being lifted, and then all of a sudden it gets the dream pushed back.
Right.
I think the celebration will be big when it finally comes through.
You said you're moving though.
Eventually,
you're planning down the line. Where would you like to be? Where would you like to move to?
Well, preferably Concord, but obviously that's not going to happen. It's too expensive here.
So would you move like farther out, maybe to like Central California? Like
I wouldn't go that far.
Not like Stockton area.
Maybe I'll look at Tracy
area. Okay.
I wouldn't mind Tracy.
Would it be you that's moving or the family?
Probably the family.
The family too. Okay.
Maybe we're not sure yet.
Yeah. Okay. I see. I mean, yeah, they would have to get, I guess, jobs over there, huh?
Probably, because the commute will be tough.
Yeah.
But we always figure it out.
Okay. And I'm guessing it's going to be a house too, or an apartment, or
I'm not sure yet. Probably likely a house because we're trying to buy.
Okay.
Too much time to fly by. We should have bought at least 5 years ago. It's too expensive.
Shoot.
I just didn't have my finances together, and because I'm a lot more financially literate and I've gotten better at it, then yeah, it's the time to do it.
I mean, that's dope. Yeah. A house that you guys can own. That's pretty dope. Because yeah, you guys here is renting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish we had the ability to buy a house. It would save us the trouble of moving, but that's unfortunately not going to happen due to the market and other stuff. Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess, huh? Shoot. But I mean, I don't want to take more of your time. Look, it's already an hour in. You know, it felt like we've only been talking for like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind. I mean, we'll finish off whatever you want to ask. I don't.
I
have time.
For sure. I mean, we hit all of the bullet points. I mean, the last part would be, me asking you where would people like to find you, but like on Instagram or whatever. But before that, I mean, do you want to talk about anything else, my friend?
Not to the top of my head, no.
Okay, but then perhaps I'll see you on another episode of the podcast.
Perhaps
down the line.
Maybe.
Okay. So then, yeah. Where if you want to give out your information, where can people find you? Like on the Instagram, the food Instagram, or what?
Probably the food Instagram will be a lot better.
Okay, so it will be what at
and Adventures.
Adventures, damn.
Yeah.
A quick history. How did you get that? How did you come up with that anyway? And Ventures.
And he goes on adventures. and Ventures.
And Ventures, dang.
Just a little punny thing to say, I guess.
And I remember you're almost like, 1,000 followers?
Yeah, but, I'm kind of slowly earning it. I need to post more. I'm mostly posting the stories. I just don't feel like taking the time to do all the edit stuff.
But I noticed, go ahead.
But I am trying to get better at expediting the posting and whatnot.
But I did notice, I mean, when you first made the account, I'm like, oh wow, he's already at what, 500, 600, and then now you're like what, 700, 800?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I haven't been focused on it too much. It's because mostly I I followed a lot of people. Some of them follow back, some of them don't.
Okay.
A lot of them drop off, but I'm not really concerned about it.
Well, here's another asking for advice for a nano influencer like yourself. Yeah, what would you ask? What would you give to a person who wants to build their Instagram or social media account? What would you tell them if they ask you, how can I build my Instagram followers or whatever?
Best thing to do is just go follow other people, really, I guess. It's all you can do, or just post more. I guess they would say on YouTube, a lot of the YouTube affiliates make a lot of money because they post regularly.
Mm-hmm. True. Post that content, videos, pictures, whatnot. For sure. I'll link that your Instagram in the description of this video. But nevertheless, thank you again for being a part of this podcast, a video series that I'm trying to do, that I'm posting on YouTube, and then posting that on LinkedIn, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to thank you again for being part of this. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you for having me.